Good morning, everyone. Happy Tuesday. It is a glorious, beautiful day today. And I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, Ange, why the fuck are you dressed up with a turban and a tuxedo? Guys, I'm wearing an actual full-blown tuxedo, these earrings. I'm wearing a really beautiful sparkly shirt. This is a shirt that I wore when I was in a restaurant in New York City and Madonna was standing at my table with Marc Jacobs. But guys, that's a whole other video. That's not what we're here for today, guys. Today is a day that I celebrate. And this is why I'm dressed up like this today. Why? Because today marks 4 years that I quit smoking. Yes, guys? Today marks 4 years. After 18 years of smoking, today marks 4 years and I am excited. And I think that it's worth celebrating. So I woke up this morning and I got fully dressed. I mean, Jeff thinks I'm a little crazy, but he already knew that I was a little crazy. So whatever. Grab your popcorn. Grab your coffee, your tea, whatever it is that you're doing right now, because this video is going to be longer than others. Because today I've decided to share with you the why I quit smoking and how I quit smoking. I think that it's important for people to share the how and the why and all the dynamics that goes with it, because especially for smokers, I think smokers I don't think there's ever a good time to quit smoking, especially if you're like a hardcore smoker. There's just no reason. And I didn't quit because I wanted to. Guys, I love smoking. The cigarette sort of became like my best friend. It's really pathetic and sad to say that, but it's the truth. Cigarette was there through my happy times, my sad times, not double the sad time, my angry times. Maybe even if I had a little digestive issue, hey, cigarettes there too. And so it never feels like it's a good time. But for me, I got scared into quitting smoking. So again, video is going to be a little longer. Grab that popcorn, but I think it's going to be much worth it in the end. So here I go. So 4 years ago, I had an appointment at a rheumatologist. And as it turns out, for something completely unrelated, as it turns out, that week, I was sitting at my desk and I felt out of breath. I wasn't doing anything at all. I was just sitting at my desk and like, I couldn't breathe. And I got concerned. So when I went to see the rheumatologist, I said, oh, here's my ailments. This is what's happening. But also I wanted to let you know that I'm out of breath. Like it's not like I'm running or anything, but I'm sitting at my desk and I'm out of breath. He's like, okay, let me give you a paper. You could go do an x-ray. And I literally finished my appointment with him. I went across the street. There was a place. I got an x-ray done. So go home, everything's cool. Next morning, ironically enough, during my cigarette break at work, I get a phone call and it's the rheumatologist and I see his number pop up on my screen and I'm thinking, this can't be good. You know shit's not good when the doctor calls you right back after an x-ray or something like that. So I picked up the phone and I said, what's wrong? And he says, well, there seems to be a shadow on your left lung. And I'm like, shadow? And in my head, I'm thinking, what? Like, this is what? I am, in my 30s. I have a young son at home, and now I'm starting to get a little panic. So I hang up with him. I go back to my office upstairs. I tell my boss that I want to talk to him in the boardroom. And actually, my boss had lost his wife from cancer not that long before. Not lung cancer, something completely unrelated, but he had lost his wife. So he had just been through all kinds of stuff. And now here I am, and he was a friend. He still is a friend. And I fell on the floor. I was crying. I was holding on. I remember I was holding on to the boardroom chair and I was on the floor and I was crying. And all I kept saying was, I don't want to die. And he was super supportive. We actually left for the rest of the day. We had a drink actually. But he was with me the rest of the day and I was like, oh my God. And he's like, we're gonna figure things out. But at this point, we don't know anything. All we know is that there's a shadow on my lung. I'm fucking panicking. So I go home and then my actual doctor calls me because the rheumatologist sent my x-ray results to my doctor. And she says, Ange, you have to go to the hospital. And I'm thinking, what is happening right now? She says, Angie, you have to go to the hospital because you are on birth control. You are on the pill. And when you're on the pill, you're not supposed to smoke. And we all know this. We've all seen the warnings, something can happen. And she says, you can get a clot. You might have like that shadow could potentially be just a small clot. And I cannot, as your doctor and as a friend, let you go to bed, because if it is a clot, that shit can go up and you can die in your sleep. And she's like, I have a friend who that happened to. So you have to go to the hospital. And let me just backtrack for a second. The rheumatologist had actually said to me, we need to get you to go do a scan, like a nuclear scan, which is like a tube that you go in. And he said, I'm sending this request, an urgent request, to the hospital and another series of tests, so that you can get in as quickly as possible. So fast forward, my doctor's now on the phone telling me, no, you can't wait for that appointment to come through. You got to go to the hospital right now. And I'm like, what is even happening? So I call Elia's dad and I say to him, this is what's happening. And I had already told him earlier in the day about the shadow, and he's not super excited about this. He's super crazy concerned. I call a couple of friends. He picks up Elias. I go to the hospital. I have a girlfriend that comes to join me, to stay with me that whole time, do blood tests, do all kinds of stuff. And I go in the scan. So if you've never done a nuclear scan before, they inject you with, I think it's iodine, but don't quote me on that, so that then they can see the images are much clearer. So here I am, 30 something, sitting on a bed, going through a scan with my little blue gown, and I'm thinking, like, again, surreal. What is even happening right now? So I have, after that IV, and in case they have to keep me overnight, the doctors that I saw are like, you're not supposed to smoke and be on birth control. And they're sort of telling me off a little bit, which I didn't appreciate at the time, but I get it. And then finally at 1:30 in the morning, my name is called to see the doctor for the results of my nuclear scan. And I go into the room, guys. I start crying before the doctor even says anything at all. I am now crying and I'm thinking, oh my God, like, this is the moment in my life where I'm told that I have like 6 months to live or whatever. And the doctor says, okay, your scan is clear. My scan is, what are you even talking about? My scan is, I'm like, what? He says, yeah, you're good. Your scan is clear. And I'm like, what is the shadow? And he says, oh, he's like, you have excess tissue around your 4th and 5th vertebrae. It's a common thing, but people usually don't know about it unless something else happens that brings them in. And then we find out that that's what it is. So he's like, so your lungs are clear. You're good. And then he said a line, and he said to me, but just so you know, your scan is clear today and you're good, but it may not be clear next time. And guys, that was it for me. The next morning, I went home, still smoked, woke up, smoked my cigarette, and I called my doctor to tell her what had happened. And I said to her, and now you are going to fax the pharmacy and you're going to send them a prescription, because I want a prescription of Chantix. It's called Chantix or Champix, depending on whether you're in the United States or Canada. I said, I want a prescription of that. And what it is, it's a pill that basically it alters your brain. It blocks your dopamine receptors. And every time you smoke, when you have the nicotine, no joy happens. It literally takes the fun out of smoking. And it's like a 14-day process. And then that's it, you're done. You don't smoke again. You really have to follow the instructions, and I'm not going to get into the details of that. If you have any questions in regards to that drug, you're more than welcome to reach out to me. But I told my doctor, I said, and if Champix doesn't work, we're going to get a patch. And if the patch doesn't work, whatever. And I specifically wanted the drug because, to me, I knew that it was going to be hard, and I still wanted to smoke, even though my brain's like, yeah, you can't smoke anymore. And what I liked about the drug is that it allowed me to keep smoking while I was taking it, and then that's it. Then you just don't want to anymore. So again, that day I decided not to smoke again. Why? Because I never want to feel the way that I felt that day. Because for 14 hours, I thought that I was dying. And I never want to feel that way ever again. And I hope you guys don't have to feel that way ever in your life. And that's that. And I was scared out of smoking, and I haven't smoked since. And after that, I mean, I haven't even had, like, guys, not even one haul, not one puff, nothing. I even thought to myself, oh my God, I'm never going to make it. I started panicking. And guys, I made it through one craving at a time. And if you watch my other videos, you know what I mean. And by that, I mean, and I had told you guys to apply this to the pandemic, but it's true. There's no point in starting to freak out and say, "Oh my God, what am I going to do in a month, in a year, in 6 months, or whatever?" I just focused on getting through one craving, and I found out that when I did get cravings, they lasted around 10 minutes. So if I could make it through this next 10 minutes, I got it, and that's what I did. I focused little by little, and I've applied that mentality to pretty much a lot of things that have happened to me in my life. And it worked, and I'm happy, and I couldn't be happier that I quit smoking. And now I can't believe that I once smoked, and it actually makes me nauseous. And I look at people smoking, and I'm like, I remember what it's like and how much fun it is and what you feel. And sometimes I'm like, I wish I could have been a social smoker, but guys, I'm much better without it. And I'm gonna say two things, and I'm gonna conclude this 10-minute video. Number one, I'm gonna tell you that it is never too late to quit smoking. And I know that you're going to think, oh, I'm in quarantine, I need smoking more than ever. And to that I say, there's always going to be a reason why you keep smoking. There's always a fun thing. It's always patio season or terrace season, or there's always something happening. But it's not good for you, and you know it. So I'm going to encourage you to do that. And for you, non-smoker, who's made it 11 minutes into the video, thank you for sticking around, number one. And number two, you know what? I was scared out of smoking. The pandemic, I took something that was scary and turned it into something positive. And the pandemic can be something that's very scary. And I'm going to encourage you to take this moment that's scary and turn it into something positive. And that's it. If you have any questions, you're more than welcome to reach out. I'm going to go celebrate, guys. I'm going to go celebrate. 4 years, you know what? A month is worth celebrating. Have yourself a great day, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.